Johnson Agbonaima, popularly known as EJ among his peers. On that account, I say a fine morning to you, EJ. Not that I'm saying that we are peers, or no, you're Oga, and I'm saluting your republic.
Thank you very much. Now you're also Oga of the world, of the media.
Well, your beloved the Edo State, the elections are coming up. We'll touch on quite a number of places because for those that don't even remember, you're a frequent guest on our program. You're a former member of the House of Representatives. You've been a federal commissioner, Code of Conduct Bureau, and you've also lived in the U.S., in fact, you hold dual citizenship. That's how close you are to the U.S. So you're keeping an eye on things. And indeed, we shall be touching on the upcoming elections there, a la Kamala Harris and Donald Trump and some of the shenanigans. But let's start from home, your beloved Edo State.
Yeah, charity begins at home. Thank you.
Indeed. Parties are gearing up. Well, give me your overview, your read of the state of preparedness in there. As you know, the front runners, APC, PDP. PDP, of course, is imagining that it will be winning, as APC itself is also imagining that the time has come, it will be taking over the reins of governance in Edo State. So how do you, as an observer and an analyst, even though you would be a partisan one because you're a member of the APC, let me hear your take on the upcoming election.
Definitely, my brother Larry, I'm not going to be partisan. I am going to be straightforward, and I'm going to say the way it is, so that Nigerians will understand that democracy is for the people, by the people, and of the people.
Okay.
Thank you for the question. In fact, I'm from Edo State. The current governor, of course, His Excellency Godwin Inoghase Obaseki.
Mm-hmm.
When I look at all the promises that he made, having at least worked closely with former governor, Senator now, Adams Aliyu Oshomole, having gained a lot of knowledge and experience from his governance, because we are both part. We work together closely with Comrade Wayne, part of the government then. I would have thought that he will take Edo State to the next level. I'm not being sentimental, I'm just saying it the way it is.
All right.
Because the truth must be told. That is the only way that we can be set free from all these shenanigans of try to blackmail people, telling people fake things that is not on ground, making noise, and at the end of the day, the people of Edo State, as of today, are suffering because of bad leadership. Fighting everybody. If you could remember at the time, at least you know that he came during his first tenure under APC. And everybody, all the APC members came out to support and endorse him.
Indeed.
Those who gave him ladder to climb, he betrayed them, stabbed them. He left APC to PDP. He betrayed PDP that gave him shelter when he was hungry. Those who gave him food when he was homeless, those who gave him shelter. My dear, he betrayed them, cast them out, abused them, insulted them. You said APC wasn't good. Now PDP that gave you, call you to come and eat. Not only do you ate the food, you ate the plate, and at the end of the day, you are not castigating those who gave you opportunity to excel. To me, a serial betrayer always remains a betrayer. In Bili language, we call it Ogbomayese. So, if you go to Edo State today, as a professional journalist that you are, I want you to go to Edo State to take holistic view of what is on ground, not what you hear. Because all that you have heard over the years, talking about MOU, Edo State is now a reference point of being called MOU state. MOU is only on paper, not on ground, talking about infrastructure development. That educational system that Edo State governor have gotten so much money. If you're talking about federal allocation, if you're talking about the loan that have been taken, if you're talking about, eternal generated revenue, by the time you combine all of them together, we're looking at over almost 20 billion every month. We took $75 million on, that is a subed, in order to uplift the educational system. The person who initiated the grant for the loan of the 35 million, immediately that money came, they removed the person and brought another person from Afri Invest, his own private company. He should tell Edo people and Nigerians what happened to the 35 million for Edo Best that is now Edo Worst. He should tell Edo people what happened to $150 million meant for the flood and erosion control. He should tell Edo people that over 600 billion, Edo is indebted to over 600 billion as of today. He should tell Edo people what he did with it. Edo State that have gotten so much money compared to other states that have gotten little. They have flyover, they have bridges. There is no good road in Edo as of today. When it rains in Edo, it is either River Obaseki or River Aswan. The rural area have been abandoned. As of today, many schools in my local government or my constituency, I represented a Guanipoboka federal constituency. Some of the schools, no roof, no chairs. Children are still sitting on the floor. Come on. This is an aberration. This is appalling, disheartening, unacceptable. And no one in the right frame of mind should support somebody that have betrayed. He came. He said, look, the artifacts that have been stolen from the Benin Kingdom for over the years, since 1897, by the grace of God, our Oba, Eware II, was able to articulate himself, making sure that all these artifacts were returned back with all his effort. He worked so hard. He had been doing this ever since, even when he was an ambassador then. Now he was not the Alba or our Oba Benin. He went ahead to make sure that all these artifacts were returned. With the support of the former president, President Buhari, it was gazetted, all the artifacts must return to the original owner. And they were all returned to the Oba, to the palace. And the governor's eyes was there. He was building a museum. What was he trying to keep in that museum? After he had collected millions of dollars with deceit and mischievous way, going outside the country to go outside the world to go and look for funding for the museum. That since they are bringing this artifact back to the Benin Kingdom, he wanted to reloot the looted artifact. And he started fighting
Honorable EJ, you did say, Honorable, you did say that you were going to be non-partisan, and merely analytical. Whereas
I'm not partisan. I'm a son of the soil. I'm a son of the Benin. Nobody that will want to try to fight our Oba, that I will keep quiet. When you see somebody fighting your father, and then you are saying, that the father, what is happening? That son will be a bastard.
Okay, so that's not where I was going
institution is not something to be toyed with.
I hear you, EJ. That's not where I was going primarily, and I hear you. I hear you on this important point, and I know
We are talking about infrastructural development,
a lot of
nothing.
Edolites are
Roads,
sensitive
nothing.
to this.
Healthcare system,
I
zero.
agree with
This
you,
insecurity
but I just,
in those
you know, I have to butt in. You will continue, sir. You will continue. You will continue.
Go ahead.
I'm just butting in
Go
a bit. Earlier, you spoke about some infrastructural landmarks, like you spoke about state of flyovers and that kind of a thing. You will agree that
zero.
We don't know. We don't know, because just about every state wants those prestige projects, and there are some in the polity who are criticizing that. Look, it's not all of these states that have these things that actually require them. It's almost like there's also the criticism of every state wanting its own airport, and can you substantiate and justify such high profile facilities? So we don't know, because you are speaking now. If the incumbent governor, if his spokesperson were here, he might also be adding some things to it. So I just wanted to put that in there, that, well, we're taking, this is your perspective on the matter, because you compared, I would have thought, the state of development, because some other states have infrastructures like flyovers, and I don't know if you are implying that the fact that Edo doesn't have them, is that necessarily a deficit?
Let me tell you, Mr. Folari, if you could remember about the Paris Club reform, a lot of the states in our country, especially the Niger Delta region, got humongous amount of money. I'm talking about billions. Somebody like the former governor of Rivers State, His Excellency Wike, you could remember the revelation he came up with. How he used the Paris Club reform to develop his own state. He did not ask the governor of Edo State, what did he do with the billions of naira that came to Edo? What did he do with it? That is the question we are asking. Now, if you go back, we're talking about the educational system. I am saying this. I'm not saying it because I want to say it. I'm saying it because I am from Edo State. If you believe what I'm saying, that when it rains in Edo State, in 5 minutes, everywhere is river. You go to Edo and go and do your own investigative journalism to ascertain, to confirm whether I am telling you the truth or not. He knows. Maybe I would say that he doesn't understand what is governance, because they say he was a technocrat. For me, this is techno-fraud. Techno-fraud. This is not about technocrat. Now, you came into being to be the governor. I would have expected at least rural areas that should be developed. GROA, even in government house, when it rains, you can't even go to government house, governor's office. Okay. I can tell you how bad it has been. Now, a governor that have gotten so much money, Mr. President, in his own goodwill, President Tinubu, in his own goodwill, he wanted to throw more support to cushion the effect of the hunger in the country. He gave out over 400 billion to the 36 states, including FCT, who benefited. What happened? What went to Edo is over 10 billion. What did he do with it? Now, not only that, Mr. President decided to, at least to fill in the gap, he sent trucks loaded with rice, almost 20, across the country. He sent to Edo. What did they do? They went and rebagged it and kept it somewhere for politics and put in Edo State, when they know that this came from Mr. President, from the federal government, from no credit given to Mr. President. Now, you go further. Mr. Dangote, in his own wisdom, wanted to also what we call CSRO, corporate and social responsibility. What happened? Everything that Dangote brought to Edo went to voicemail. I'm advising Mr. President, even though I'm not his
Went to
advisor,
voicemail. All
that
right.
next time, I'm sorry, let me say this, that next time, Mr. President should do it directly. Because we have Nigeria, they have NIA, they
Okay.
have banks, they can be reached directly. So instead
I
of
hear
giving
you.
it to these governors, once Mr. President gives them this support, they forget, nobody talks about it. All they
Okay.
want to do is to talk
I
about
hear you. You
the
see,
center, Mr. President that is doing nothing. If Mr.
All right.
President have done all this, and
we're talking about the
Nigerians
governor. I hear you.
are not
Indeed, I
aware,
hear you,
hold on.
EJ. Well, you see,
Yes, okay, go
I don't
ahead.
want this to be. I don't want this to be. You were looking at. If you look at the subject matter, is that the parties gear up for Edo governorship election, and to look at the state of preparedness and general observations. But you're going into, a laser-focused, critical mode of the incumbent governor. Whereas the analyst that I know you are, I wanted to ask you. I wanted you to give us your impression as to the activities of the parties towards that election. Clearly, I think I can almost take it for granted that you will have no criticism whatsoever of APC's preparations. You would say, I am sure, that APC is more than ready. But then APC isn't the only horse in the race. So in effect, I was like wanting you to give us your impressions as to the chances of the, other contestants, the state of preparedness, the campaigns, and that kind of a thing, to sort of give us that overview. So I take everything that you have said. That's your opinion. You have your right. And indeed, by the same token, we're inviting anybody who wants to come in on this conversation, be he from the side of the incumbent governor. He's more than welcome to just call in and come and, if he has to, wants to, debunk anything that our guest is saying. So do you get me, sir, Honorable EJ? That's, I think we've heard enough.
I get you clearly.
Yes, we've heard enough.
I get you clearly.
And we know that you don't think very much of the incumbent governor's chances, perhaps, or his stewardship so far. I think that much is, you've been clear that you don't think. But does that now mean...
If I may
Does that now mean that you think that your party is excellently prepared to pip the opposition at the election proper?
Thank you. The reason why I'm trying to buttress this point, to kind of enlighten, to educate our people. Because what they are saying, APC government have not done well. They have done well and they're going to continue to do well. I wanted to put it straight what Mr. President have done to help, especially Edo State, I'm talking about now. All the effort that Mr. President have done, regardless of the fact that he's not an APC state, he also found his own way to help our people. With all this that he brought to bear, to support Edo State people, to support the good people of Edo State, I wanted to hear that Mr. President have done well, has given us so much billions, so much support that have not been shown, that have not been told, that have not even been recognized. I wanted that to come in so that they will not know the reason why APC will take over Edo State. APC is ever ready to take over Edo State. Why? Because of all these emphasis that I've laid on the table for you to understand the reason why our people should not, once beaten, twice shy. Because we can't not be taken for granted for a right anymore. Because they said 4 + 4, talk back, and it has ended in fiasco. So, coming back to APC, of course, with all the good things that, we have done in the past, Edo State people are wiser and smarter. Our candidate, for God's sake, he was never a politician. As at then, he did so well in helping the downtrodden. He's from Edo Central. He gave so much support in the terms of insecurity in terms of infrastructural development, in terms of helping the young men and women, educating them, giving them scholarship. This is a man at a time when there was no water. It was very hard, difficult to find water in Edo Central, even though we have Ministry of Water Resources that there's nothing to write home about. This man, he was never a senator, he was never a politician, finding worthy to help his people. You see, they said you have to look at people's past records, your past antecedent, your report card. What have you done lately? What can people, remember you for? These are the things what endear me to him. Okay, if this man could do this when he was not a politician, now, because of what he did to his people, Edo Central, PDP have never won Edo. APC have never won Edo Central, never in the history. But this man contested under APC in Edo State, distinguished Senator Monday Okpebholo. Guess what? He won. People came out en masse to support him because of his, empathy, humility, simplicity. A man, a complete gentleman who cares about the ordinary man, ordinary woman, because of his own background, where he's coming from. That's what endeared me to him. He wasn't born with golden spoon. You have seen it. You have seen hardship. He went from nowhere. A man who took a company, a million naira company, and took it to today is a billion, naira company. From nowhere, interweb. He's not known all over the world. And you're not telling me that that man is not capable? Look, that's
well, nobody has said he's not capable. At the end of the day, as you know, it's going to be up to the electorate. So, I sort of like to thank you very much for this overview that you've given us. And as I said, in the course of the program, if anybody on the side of the PDP sees fit to, add anything to what effectively has been there, they could easily say a one-sided account. They are more than welcome to call us. But, Honorable EJ, now, you've been in public service. I was speaking about you being a member of the House of Representatives. Maybe we could shift focus because we have so many strands of yours from which to pick from. There was a time when you were a federal commissioner of the Code of Conduct Bureau. Let's look at that.
No, aspect. I'm still a federal commissioner, not when I was. I'm still a federal commissioner Code of Conduct Bureau. So based on that fact, I know a lot.
My bad.
I know a lot because corruption is our major problem.
Okay, because that's where I was going to come to now. So thank you very much. My bad for implying that it was in the past. So I want to get your impression on the nature of the work of the Code of Conduct Bureau, how tough it is, because if there's not very much going on then it'll be easy takings. But if, on the other hand, it is your considered opinion that we certainly have issues that must be addressed, and maybe I'll hear from you efforts, how successful those efforts are there constraints? But before you launch, a call has come in. Good morning, Mr. George, and thank you very much for calling in. You've had to go on a roundabout route. We appreciate that.
Good morning, Uncle Yori. Good morning to our guests this morning.
Yes.
Uncle Yori, the guest is not partisan. From what I know in Edo State, I told you I was born there. I even did my primary school education there before I left the state. What the gentleman is saying is absolutely correct. When Governor Shomole was there, he built schools, primary and secondary schools, in virtually every village, including the one that I attended. That was the first time that school was rebuilt, like many other schools in Edo State, before he passed the torch to Governor Obaseki. One would have expected him to continue with the equipment of the schools, recruitment of more teachers, and the rest. But that was not to be. My family, in about 6 months ago, my family foundation had to donate books to that primary school in that village that I attended because the state of equipment in the school was bad. Those schools Shomole built in every village, they are called the red roof schools. Anybody that is familiar with Edo State and wants to be honest with himself will tell you that those schools are in virtually every village in the state. But they were not, his efforts wasn't followed up by Governor Basiki in terms of education. So the question that the gentleman is asking as to what went wrong with all the MOUs and the loans that we are taking is very, very appropriate. I think the governor needs to answer some questions about management of funds after his tenure. Perhaps that is why he is struggling to ensure that he employs his own surrogates so that he will not be probed. I don't think that will happen. Uncle Yori, let us go to the area of corruption.
Yes.
Yes. If you look at those, for example, you see that what they are collecting, just Google it, what they are collecting in a month is less than a third of it is what they are paying, using to pay salary. At the time they were paying salaries of 40,000 naira. They were using less than a third of what they were getting officially, not the other ones. So there is a need for him to tell us what he has been doing with the money. Since Edo State, he is the first governor since I was born to hear that he dragged the Oba of Benin to court. It is a sacrilege, as far as I know of Edo culture, for a citizen to drag the Oba of Benin to court. I've never heard of it before, but this governor used his surrogates to do it. I leave that to the voters. I'm not based there, but the voters in Edo State who are seeing what is happening there will not allow a man like this to put a surrogate there to continue that nonsense. Good morning.
All right, then. Thank you for calling in, Mr. George. He took the secretary's route because of our broadcast schedule. He's watching us on an alternative channel. Well, Honorable, there you go. As I said, a viewer has called in.
Let me, the caller.
Yes.
I'm happy about what the caller have just raised. Let me tell you, Mr. Folari, talking about corruption, Code of Conduct Bureau is one of the oldest anti-corruption agency in this country, enshrined in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as amended, 1999. But unfortunately, a lot is going on why Code of Conduct Bureau is not where it should be at this moment in fighting the menace of corruption.
You know what, Honorable EJ? Honorable EJ. Hold on. Wait, you hold on. You hold on. You hold on, please. Please hold on. Because you'll understand with the request I'm about to make. We've got to go on a quick break, but we'll come right back and then we'll continue so that you won't be interrupted. Stay with us, please. We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back, and thank you for staying with us. We had to go on a quick break there. Our guest remains Honorable Ehezua Johnson Agbonayima, otherwise known as EJ to his peers. Now, when he had just started and was going to launch into, his stewardship in the Code of Conduct Bureau before we had to go. But in the meantime, when we did go, a call has also come in from Mazi Okoroafo. So let's take that call as well so that the Honorable can comment on it holistically. Mazi Okoroafo, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Sayori. Good morning, our guest there.
Yes.
Sayori, see, what I'm just discovering now is that on what things, the Edo State election, we are just talking now, because it is all the stations, everybody talking about a day. Because the type of game going there now in terms of a campaign and the terms of blackmail is not healthy. And what is annoying me most is that our youth who are supposed to sit down, decide within themselves where to vote for, whom to vote for, and what are the targets they are voting for. They are being used to create all these problems. Now, at the end of the day, who are the people losing? It is the youth. Now, look at, just yesterday, that what I was saying that 21 days I asked to have given now. Then they should youth now. If you think about the educational aspect of that, if you think about their medical life, if you think about the skill acquisition you get, if you think about how to aid their own living, they have to be independent. Not for you to be working at depending. At the end of the day, who are they to suffer? Honestly, the political parties, that is why you should pay to them. It's what we call soccer. Soccer is a game that when you go, there must be a winner, there must be a... When you lose just peacefully. That's what we call state match. But the way the team is going there in Edo State, I don't know. Because I've got the Nigerian youth, not the federal, this one has nothing to do with the federal government because it is the youth themselves that decide what they want. But if they want what they want, that's their future, they should decide whether this is the candidate that will forget about political parties. Vote for candidates that will deliver, vote for candidates that will make sure that you have 247 security, 247 job when you finish your time, when you finish your time, you get a job. That is what they're speaking about, not to think about grab now and eat now. What happened in the future? Good morning.
Thank you very much for that call. Okay, now, over to you, Honorable EJ. That gentleman and the one before have sort of dragged us back into politics, but you were going to talk about corruption, I'm sure. Did you want to comment on anything that, especially the last gentleman who spoke about advising people to vote for personalities?
Let me thank him. Let me thank him for that, his observation that have to do with Edo State. I think our people are wiser, the youth are wiser. The reason why I needed to buttress so many of the things why I took you back to the memory lane, just to let them know that the president have done well in trying to help us, to help the youth. If a president gave over 10 billion, over 400 billion to the whole federation, to 36 states, including FCT, to coaching the effect, the hunger, that is an added value. That's a plus. If a president decided to send food, palliative, to help the people, that is a huge plus. Nobody is talking about it. The governors are supposed to be the one helping the people, the downtrodden, the local government, not at the center. The federal government is getting their allocation, and it is shared among the 36 states, including the FCT. What are they doing with their resources when everybody always talks about the center? All these issues we are talking about the youth. I want the youth to ask their governors to question them. What are they doing with all these billions? That is the thing I want to lay on the table. Coming to Edo State, like Iranli said, those are the things that our people should be told, should be educated. Because the man that the governor is bringing, that he have endorsed, have also been a member of his cabinet. He has been the economic advisor of Edo State. He has been the consultant. It's a conduit pipe that they have used to siphon Edo State resources. Everything they have done, he has been one of the consultants. Come on. Even a blind man or woman can see, can feel the pain that Edo State deserves to get the best. Edo State, with the resources that have been dear to our people, they deserve to have the best government. If not, then something is wrong. That is why.
All right.
Now, I told you about the code. We're talking about Code of Conduct Bureau.
Yes.
I am saying this without fear or favor. I'm not missing words. Code of Conduct Bureau. If Code of Conduct Bureau is supported, I can tell you, many people, many public servants, because Code of Conduct Bureau is only there, to make sure that public officers conduct themselves, that they don't abuse the power given to them in terms of conflicts of interest, abuse of power, and corrupting themselves. When you look at what is happening in this country today, everything, I'm sorry to say this, we blame the center. Nobody is talking about the MDAs, various ministries, various parastatals, that a lot of billions and billions have been stolen from this country. And I am privileged to know all this because of where I work. I am saying, until we face this head on in fighting corruption, because when you fight corruption, corruption fight back. If you recall the other day, just to blackmail Mr. President, they went and said that President have a refinery mortar. Bunch of lies. If Mr. President is one of those that do have, I will be among those that will tell Mr. President, I will say it to the Nigerian people. I'm not afraid to say it, but don't give a bad name just because you want to bastardize, you want to derail the wheel of progress of moving this country forward. If this country, if we have good roads, good educational system, good healthcare system, let me tell you, all of us as a Nigerian, we enjoy it. So I'm looking for a better Nigeria. I'm looking for a greater Nigeria. I want every patriotic Nigerians to look beyond rhetoric that this country is ours. We must protect it. We must guide it. Because if you don't value what you have, somebody else will help you devalue it. Nigeria is a great country. We can only be great if we do the right thing. Corruption has eaten us deeply. Do you know that at a time when we were doing investigation from Code of Conduct Bureau, we were doing verification exercise. I represent South of the country. For me to go to every state, I went to Akwa Ibom, I went to Cross River, I went to River State, I went to Delta State, I went to Bayelsa. For me to go to my state, my governor wrote a petition to my director in Edo that Edo State, that my security is not guaranteed for me to come to Edo, because knowing for a fact that they have a lot in their cupboard. Now, when you fight corruption, guess what? They are going to fight back. I have been going through this. I am going to continue to fight corruption. Is it the Nigerian Railway? Is it the NNPC that have investigated over the years? Is it the IOCs that have stolen our resources? Just name it. Is it PECON that our money for, I'm talking about the pensioner, have gone to voicemail? Or is it the Accountant General of the Federation, former Accountant General, who stole over 211 billion? Today, he's being celebrated. When someone who steals 10,000, 100,000 is serving 10 years, 15 years imprisonment. Those who stole billions are being celebrated, are given chieftaincy title. Now, how do you define corruption? I want all of us to fight this together.
Before you go there, I was going to refer to something you said in this connection. You implied that the Code of Conduct Bureau could use a lot more help, and that, of course, would be government, that it supported. Now, that even in your commenting on this, maybe you'll tell us how the Code of Conduct Bureau works. Do you have your own investigators? Do you know where to go? Can you work on suspicion? Or do you wait for petitions, complaints to be made, whereupon you then investigate those? And that's how does it work? Are matters reported to you? Or do you go out investigating yourself?
Thank you very much. Listen to me. We work on, ramification. We work both covert and uncovert. We work even based on petition, both on intelligence gathering, intelligence information, and I'm not going to come here to tell you the nitty-gritty how we do this, because it's not supposed to. It's not for public consumption, because at least I don't want people to know how we are able to do our job. But I tell you, Code of Conduct Bureau is more than what you think about. Yes.
But it could use more support. It could use more support.
If Code of Conduct Bureau is highly supported with the right people, I am telling you, I am telling you without fear of favor. Because every public officer has to declare their asset. You must. If what you earn is commensurate with your income, it's that simple. What you earn, what did you declare before? A lot of people declare anticipatory declaration is an offense. Anticipatory declaration is an offense. Declaring what you don't have, but you are saying maybe in the near future you are going to have it. A lot of people have done that. And failure to declare your asset is a crime. It's a violation of the Code of Conduct for public officer.
Is there a way in which the Code of Conduct Bureau can verify that which has been declared, especially because of the point you've just made, that there are those who are sort of declaring their assets forward?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. See, let me tell you, it goes beyond just not even Nigeria. Going to investigate, a lot of our public officers have bought so many properties abroad. We could do everything to work along with other security agencies outside the soil of this country. Because there are so many property owned by public officers from Nigeria that I'm privileged to. Yes, I lived in the United States for many years, and I was a real estate developer. I was a real estate practitioner at the time. So there's no property that you bought as a Nigerian, living in Nigeria, having expended resources made for Nigerian people to go and acquire property over there. Listen, yes, if Code of Conduct Bureau is doing what they ought to do, because of the limited resources, we cannot do that.
Okay.
We can send people outside this country to do investigative journalism like you will do, that Code of Conduct will also do their own investigation to ascertain if the money that they used in buying those property, where they got the money from. Somebody that's on level 12, level 14. A civil servant in this town, FCT, level 12, owns an estate right here. We have been prosecuting that case. Guess what? People have been fighting for us not to succeed. Let me tell you something. I am not afraid anymore. I'll be getting a lot of phone calls, threats. I'll be getting a lot of phone calls threatening my life. What shall it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? I will continue to fight. Yes, I'm going to continue to fight.
I imagine that this is the experience of your other fellow, commission members, or is it peculiar to your zone, or is your experience similar, where you're getting these phone calls trying to dissuade you from pursuing some aspects of your job? Do you find that you are alone in this boat, or is it similar with commissioners from other zones?
I have some good people. Listen, I have some wonderful people in the Code of Conduct Bureau. But I'll tell you also, I have some bad eggs in the Code of Conduct Bureau.
Dear.
That, Mr. President, with all due respect, we need help. We do need help. We need help to contain and combat and fight the corruption. Even within us, we need to come out and do the right thing. I know Mr. President wants everything to go well for this country, but there are some people that try to derail the will of progress of Mr. President not to succeed. But forgetting that if the country succeeds, it's for the glory of all of us.
So because
I am not perfect.
You
are not perfect. Nobody is perfect.
Nobody is. It's a bit demoralizing because our time is fast running out, where we are sort of ending on, because you give a sense of frustration that, look, the CCB is willing and able to do its job, but just like we heard with other anti-corruption agencies, their forces, you used the expression more than once, that you fight corruption, it'll fight back. There are these forces that clearly are militating against your efforts, and it's almost as if, from what this conversation we're having, as if the CCB, because it is a Nigerian organization, is powerless to fight back and roundly put corruption in its place. especially as it relates to public officers?
Mr. Folari, unfortunately, sometimes I always tell people, your stomach is not only meant for food. Your stomach is also meant to keep some information so that, you don't say things that will jeopardize the effort of Mr. President.
Let me bring on a caller.
Means well. But I must say one thing. I must say this, that the head of service, I think she had probably retired, if not, Mrs. Essa, and the chairman of the Civil Service Commission investigated a matter that had to do with Code of Conduct Bureau in the leadership situation. Their report was conveyed to the SGF of the Federation. Till today, that report have not been, adhered to. So I am going to go again to write Mr. President what is going on in our Code of Conduct Bureau.
Okay, I hear you.
I have written to Mr. President, that letter I wrote to him, it was hijacked on the way. Mr. President never got it after my intelligence report. Mr. President never got that information. I shouldn't have mentioned this on here, but I want to say, I am one of those that I want Mr. President to succeed. But those that are derailing the will of progress for him not to succeed, there's judgment day. God will judge all of them. Because
let me thank Vincent. Vincent is in Italy. He's been holding on for a while, and I want to bring him on now. Good morning, Vincent. Thank you for holding on.
We are using money to call. Tell him to stop the program.
Go ahead, my brother. Thank you.
Good morning.
Is Vincent there?
Good morning.
Yes, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Go ahead, Vincent.
How are you?
Yes, my name is Vincent, but I'm calling from Italy.
Okay.
I'm from Edo State.
All right, go ahead, please.
I'm very happy to see my brother on this program this morning. You see, it begins at home. So if he's talking about corruption, let us start from Edo State. How much is a state governor earning? How much permanent secretary is earning in a year? Level 12, level 13. I want to know from our brother. Because some of us here who are suffering here in Europe, we know why we left Nigeria. I am a pensioner. I left Nigeria after I stayed in more than 10 years without getting my pension. Thank God today to Governor Baseki, we are getting our pension monthly as when due. I want my brother to tell me the salary of our comrades, the mansion he built in Iyamo. If a state governor, his salary can build that one for 30 years. If you calculate his annual salary for 30 years, no people should start fighting corruption right from your state, not at federal level. Leave the Tinubu alone. We know why we are suffering today. 10% of those politicians want to bring someone they can control so that they will continue their stomach infrastructure.
Okay, Mr. Vincent, thank you very much for calling in. I interjected there because we have to leave a little bit of time for him to react to what you've just said, and our time is fast running out. So there you go. Honorable, how would you respond to Mr. Vincent calling in?
Thank you very much, my brother calling from Italy. God bless you. Because it's going to take collective effort, patriotic Nigerians, especially sons and daughters of Edo State, to do the right thing. In the past, you remember the 4+4 talk bar at the end of the day, see where we have found ourselves. And I'm happy for the question that you ask. So those are the things, like I just told you, I was going to Edo State as part of our normal routine assignment, conducting asset verification exercise to ascertain those who declare their asset, what they declare, for us to go about doing the verification to know if they really have those properties vehicles and
Yeah.
the amount of money they have in their bank, just for us to do that. I was going to Edo State when the governor of Edo State wrote a letter, a petition, against me that I cannot come to Edo, that coming to Edo, that my
You
security
said
is
so.
not guaranteed.
You did say so.
The letter.
Yes.
He wrote to
But-
the director, my director of Edo State, he wrote to her and copied the headquarters here. That's to tell you because, but let me tell you.
So there is a
nothing
difficulty.
hidden. I am
Sorry,
happy-
we're down to seconds.
I'm happy
We're
that
down
we
to
have,
seconds now.
we have EFCC, we have EFCC, we have ICPC, we have Code of Conduct Bureau. So no one can run. You can hide, but you cannot run.
Okay, well, I think we're going to have to leave it there, and I want to thank you very much, Honorable Ehiozuwa Johnson Agbonayima, former member of the House of Representatives and Federal Commissioner, Code of Conduct Bureau. We do probably appreciate your frustration as you expressed it this morning in terms of your work there. But thank you for the entire program. Appreciate your coming on.
Thank you.
So that's
Thank you
our
very
program.
much. Thank you for having me. By the grace of God, distinguished Senator Mondo Okpebolo will be the next governor, and Right Honorable Dennis Idausa definitely will be the deputy governor. God bless
That's our
you for
program
supporting.
today. Do please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Iyori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.